you had an incident, right, where a stabbing happened. Was you with the Pacers, or you was in New York, or was you with the Knicks?
Exactly.
Or you was with the Pacers? Now, I believe you was like stabbing your elbow and your stomach,
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
How did you get through that as far as like getting back on the court, being able to focus on basketball during that time? How did you get yourself out of that situation mentally?
I have a great circle. You know, my mom, number one, you know, she's been in my corner since day one, no matter what, thick and thin. My family always behind me, friends. I have a great circle of people that help me keep my mind straight because it got dark for sure. I still struggle with some stuff to this day because of it. You know, this elbow still ain't 100. But I would say I credit, you know, God first, but my circle.
Yeah, yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I think it happened to you. It happened to Paul Pierce.
Yeah.
And I think in New York as well.
I think he was in Boston.
He was in Boston. Yeah, he was in Boston.
I think
he was in Boston. You're right about that. But yeah, man, like I said, like I told you off camera, that was one of the stories I read back when it happened. And I was like, damn, what the hell was going on?
Yes, I mean, sometimes bad things happen, you know, and thank God I'm still here for one. But, you know, we keep moving, you know, and that's part of my story when I talk to young guys now, you know, about staying out of trouble, staying out the way, you know, being safe out there because a lot of people, a lot of situations could easily have been worse for me, you know what I mean? So a lot of situations can be worse for others. So, you know, I always try to advise to be smart and be safe out there.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, that always God first on that type of stuff. And,
Absolutely.
The reason why I wanted to ask that question is because definitely, you know, I want kids to know how to avoid stuff like that. Is that a situation you think you could have avoided if you had did something different that day?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you could obviously say don't be there. Like number one, it's hard to advise a kid that, and I wasn't a kid, but you know, to tell the kids, you know, don't be out so late, et cetera, et cetera. Like that's not likely. But there's a way to go about moving, and I think you know it's very important. You know, one, I had a driver. I don't know if anybody like, but I had a guy that helped.
Yeah, I read that. I heard he held him till the cops came or something like that.
Yeah, like because it was when the guy has a weapon and things, it gets wild. I can't go into details, but you know, be very smart how you move. You know, for the young professionals out there, young players out there. You know, you get attention, things happen. Not to say that is or isn't my situation in particular, but you know, things can happen very quickly.
Absolutely.
So you have to be smart. You have to always be on your P's and Q's. You know, I'm not gonna tell a kid that, you know, he's never gonna go out and party and this, that, and the third and go to no clubs and nothing. Like that's not realistic. Like you're gonna have a good time, but be smart about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, be cautious of how you're drinking. If you're not gonna be in the right state, who's sober, who's watching out for us. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. Because you know, I'm a very fortunate situation. It could be a lot worse, and you and I both know a lot of stories where it has been worse for others.